be meaningless, and they don't come here. They need, in other words, they need more time. They need to continue to look for themselves, and they need to continue to be frustrated in their search. That is part of the larger design. The frustration is built into human existence. And so that's what the world is for, the so-called world. It is there to frustrate you. And to drive you deeper, to eventually drive you out of identification with form. Because as long as you're identified with form, it is so frustrating. And you can never make it. You can never arrange the forms and accumulate all the forms that you need, you think you need to be yourself. Or sometimes you can do it for a very brief time span. You can suddenly find everything is now working in my life. My health is good, my relationship is great, great money, got possessions, everybody loves me. They all write good things about me. It's all working. My job, my living situation, my finances, my health, my relationships, they're all great. But before long, something there starts to crumble here or there. It's either the finances, or it's the relationship, or it's the living situation. So it's in the nature of the world of form that nothing stays fixed for very long. And so it starts to crumble again here. You just had sorted it all out. And so that's why humans, they experience life as a series of frustrations. Why can't it work? It doesn't work because they are looking for themselves there. They are demanding that the world of form should make them complete and happy. I demand that this world should complete who I am, should give me my sense of self. I just need this and that from there, and then that's all. This is what I demand. And then it's not happening. There's something wrong here. Life isn't working. It seems to be working for everybody else, but it's not working for me. I read in the magazines, all the glossy people, it seems to be working for them. But only if you look at the glossy pictures. If you visited them at home, you would see that it's not working for them either. So it's built into living here is frustration. It's meant to be frustrating. This is the whole. There is a purpose, but people haven't seen it. So it's quite a relief to recognize, first of all, the world cannot make me happy. To demand that situations, people, places, or attainments should complete me or make me happy are bound to be frustrated, whether I attain or do not attain. Okay, so that looks very negative, doesn't it? And that's why when you don't go deeper, when you only see the surface, you see, oh, all is vanity, as the Old Testament prophet said. Vanity of vanities, all is vanity. I've seen it all. I can't remember the exact words, but I'm giving you a free translation. I've seen it all, I've done it all, and it's all completely meaningless. That's what he said. And that was probably an elderly man who had tried it all. And now, why did they put this into the Bible? Isn't it very negative to have such a statement that life is completely vain, whatever you can achieve is vanity? They put that in there because when you see the truth of it, you're already becoming free of it. The seeing of the inability of the world to make you happy, the seeing of the short-lived nature of whatever forms you encounter in your life, What is it in you that is able to see that and say, ah, or even laugh? What before was a dreadful story and frustration, you suddenly step out of your own story and see that your own frustrating story is not your personal dilemma, but the human condition. And you derived your sense of self from that, which is nothing personal whatsoever. It's the human condition. And that it's the human condition in its unconscious state, its unenlightened state. And that's what gave you your sense of personal selfhood, and that you wanted to cling to. And now you step out of it by simply seeing it. The seeing means something is arising that is not part of that unconsciousness. And that is why they put it into the Bible, because when you see it, that which can witness that in you, the impermanent nature of all forms, the fictitious nature of the mind-made story, what is it in you that is able to look at that and see, ah, that is not thought, that is the ability to be aware and hold up the mirror of awareness and simply see it there. Ah, or let's say better, the light of awareness shines on it. The light of awareness shines on it and sees what before you were trapped in, the frustrating story of my life. And there is no life that's not ultimately frustrating. It only begins, it loses its frustration when you do not look to the world anymore for your satisfaction or for yourself. When you give up demanding that people, places, situations should make you happy and fulfill you, you don't demand it anymore, then suddenly the ability arises to allow the forms of this moment to be as they are. Because life at this moment already, always is as it is. It always, the isness you cannot doubt. Whatever forms appear in the present moment, it always is as it is. And so most humans are in a conflict relationship with the isness of life. They internally run away from it or reject it, criticize it, complain about it, or look somewhere else. I don't want the isness of this, I want that. So when you see what the world cannot do for you, you drop your demand, because you see it as absurd to demand something of the world that it cannot deliver. And then you can simply be with whatever is, and this moment are always inseparable, of course. Whatever is at this moment is as it is. I don't demand that this place, even if you come here and you demand that Finton should make me happy. If you came with that demand, you would probably already have experienced frustration here. Because no place is capable of doing that for long, or doing it at all. And so you come here and say there's little things, oh, that shouldn't be here. There's a Royal Air Force base right next to the spiritual center. It doesn't make sense. And so you can complain about that. That shouldn't be. Why did they put that here? They should have gone somewhere else. And then you can say, I came here to find peace, and what do I find? I find screaming jets, blisters, I'm going home. And that's only one thing. And you'll find many more. My roommate snores. I can't get a night. I have to wait for the bathroom. And it's not sunny. This is late May and it's not sunny. I should never have come to Scotland. It's not. So if you, just little examples of if you expect a place to fulfill you, it can't do that. In no place, even if you went to a South Pacific island, there would be something that is not quite right. It doesn't fit there. Whatever it is, the sunshine every day, it's too much. The mosquitoes at night, I didn't know about that. They didn't mention them in the travel brochures. So here again, a beautiful opportunity to drop the demand that a particular place should make you happy, or give you peace, or help you find yourself, and simply then bring a yes to whatever form this moment takes. Instead of demanding that the form of this moment should be different in order to satisfy me. So you bring an inner alignment into your relationship with the present moment. Let's put it like that. For the way in which you relate to life, which is always now, only now, an inner alignment comes in with now. So you do not internally separate yourself from now, which is life. Life and now are one. Because that is a source of great frustration and suffering. And so, whatever form this moment takes, there's a jet flying, there may be raining, and then there's some sun coming through. Good, bad, the mind could call this good, could call this bad, but it all is as it is at this moment. And an enormous freedom comes into your life when you drop the demand that this should be other than it is. And then you no longer demand that Finton should make you happy or give you peace. And then every moment, or rather the one moment, is as it is. You go one step at a time to wherever you go, and you look around, and you stand, and you walk, and you sit, and there are people coming, people going, things here, things there. And suddenly, as you bring an inner alignment to the now, something arises within you that has nothing to do with the form that this moment takes. And it arises because you allow the form that this moment takes to be as it is. So in allowing the form that this moment takes, internally embracing it, saying, I might as well say yes because it is life. Because it is the only moment there ever is, the now. I might as well embrace it and say, yes, that's how it is. This does not diminish your ability to change if anything needs changing. Action arises out of the alignment with what is. So you can be aligned with getting something that is not good. You can have food that's gone cold or something, and then you bring it back to the kitchen and you say, this food is cold, would you please heat it up again if it's possible? Nothing wrong with that. But it's the action comes out of alignment. The same action could arise out of an inner resistance to what is, and then there's immediately self comes in, a complaining self, a self that enhances itself through its complaints, and then walks with the same action but with a fundamentally different energy field. You then walk with that plate to the kitchen and say, what is this? Don't you know? Don't you heat your food here? What you should be serving hot. You are in this. Your action is to enhance yourself through it, to make the self right, to strengthen the fiction of me, and then you do that to another human, and that other human is going to defend itself and try to react in order to resist the diminishment of their sense of self, because that's what the ego tends to do. If it says you are wrong, it tries to diminish the fiction of that other person, and then the other will defend itself and come up with even bigger cannons and start shouting back at you in order to defend its diminishment of, again, the diminishment of the fiction. What a world. So you could live, when you live in alignment with what is, intelligence arises in your life that is far greater than the accumulated knowledge of the mind or the ability of the mind to analyze or solve IQ problems or crossword puzzles. That's a very tiny form of intelligence. Nothing wrong with it, but it's tiny. But that's what this world calls intelligence. You can memorize and analyze and be quick in giving answers, manipulate thoughts, and keep as many thoughts as possible in your head. And yet there's a far deeper intelligence that our civilization knows nothing of. And it's that out of which all true creation comes, true creativity comes. And so that is accessed when you bring a yes, no more than that, a yes to the present moment. That, by the way, includes the past, because there are some people who carry a strong grievance or resentment connected with something that happened in the past. Somebody did it to you, or a situation happened in the past, and there's still a strong grievance that they carry. And how does that work when I say accepting the present moment? Accepting the present moment, the way it is now, includes accepting the past, because it is only because you believe that something that happened in the past is interfering somehow with your ability to be alive or to be yourself or to be fully yourself at this moment. You're saying, okay, maybe you lost a limb or something like that. Somebody cut it off 10 years ago. And you carry the grievance. So how does, when you accept this moment as it is, you accept this as it is? One limb is missing. That is as it is. That is the form that this moment takes. Well, and you accept that this is how it is. Then you don't have the reference to the past anymore as having caused that, and on the level of form, of course, that is a disability. It prevents you from winning Wimbledon this year. You can't do it anymore. Yes, on the level of form, perhaps that imposed some limitation on your life. But the world is full of limitations that are inherent in form. If it's not one set of limitations, you will encounter some other set of limitations. So there's almost never a present moment that does not have certain limitations. Even the noise coming occasionally from the Air Force base next door could be considered a kind of limitation. Or even if you can't get a good night's sleep because your roommate snores, could be considered as a relatively minor limitation in your life. But there are large limitations, and they're also to do with the world of form, and that's what the world of form does. You can exchange limitations. You can, of course, improve your life on the level of form. There's nothing wrong with that, as long as you're not looking for yourself in it. It's beautiful to play with forms in your life. Okay, I'm going to make money now. I'll play with that. But not hoping that once you've made enough, then you can finally be someone. if you're not someone now, being, you cannot find it through money or through future. Then you can play with the world of form, and the miraculous thing is, when you drop your demands towards the world of form, that it should make you happy, then wherever you find yourself, whatever situation you find yourself in, whoever you meet, wherever you go, place, situation, person, is actually quite satisfying, because you have touched something within yourself that is deeper than the movement of thought, which is form, deeper than form. The movement of thought is still form. So the simple thing of internally bringing a yes to this moment, is that all? Yes, but it needs, for you to do that, requires a certain degree of presence, to be able to say, this is as it is, instead of being taken over by an old reactive pattern, governed by the fictitious self that says, this doesn't fit into the story of me, or how can I fit this into this isn't completing my story, in fact this shouldn't be in my story at all, get out of here. So many people, they're walking stories, often when they meet other humans, they don't want to be with other humans, say, get out of my story, you shouldn't be in here. I want somebody else in here. And again, so you step beyond, you step out of the movement of thought, and the stillness and the peace arise